that's when I finally just get fed up and start screaming and yelling at him. And those are my favorite prayers ever, because after yelling and feeling that I'm so smart and have outsmarted him and said so many responses that he has nothing to come back with, I just sit there and try to catch my breath, and just one or two little sentences just pop in my head. And then I just have to sit there and go, okay, I just got to put it in my place. But yeah, I could really ramble on about like an hour for all this, but I'm really not going to, because I'm kind of excited for the pizza and stuff too. But any time that you guys want to talk to me about doubt or disbelief, or just my life, I love talking about me. So feel free to do that anytime. But yeah, I'm going to leave it before I get more off topic than I already am.
All right, thank you, Brad. Now we're going to spend the next 20 minutes until 9 o'clock. We've come up with 2 discussion questions, and you can take your time with them. But the first one is doubt inherently bad? And that was off on the time. Oops.
Well, just seems to me from the discussions that we've had here, the answer is no.
Well, it's settled then. Let's have pizza.
All right. We do have one other question, though, in case that one ran out of fuel, which it apparently did.
Is doubt an integral part of belief?
Absolutely. Again, if you don't doubt something, you don't necessarily challenge it. And if I go on blind faith or naivety, just how foolish is that? And what greater of a statement to not only myself, but to others who are watching me, if I have gone through this huge doubt, this crisis of belief, and come full circle. Without even saying anything, my life gives testament to what I believe. And one thing I wanted to add to something that was said earlier about pain and a good God, and how does a good God allow this? The one thing that I failed to mention is that, and it's a lot like this too, the greater the pain, in my life, it's been a purification process. It makes me stronger. It also is a greater glorification of God. And sometimes I struggle with that, because it's like, what, are you sadistic or what? But seriously, the harder the challenge, if I overcome it, or someone else overcomes it, that shows His power. And it glorifies Him all the more. And again, I had one other thought and I lost my head. I'll come back later.
How do I put this and where do I start? I guess you could almost replace some of these doubt words with maybe struggle. That guy that was just speaking. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I'm a pastor and I'm terrible with names. That's a great combination. Anyway, the thing is what the thing he's describing there, that's life. I mean, the attempt to rise above our fallen world, that's never going to change. I mean, there's hills and valleys, ups and downs, and just hearing him talking about that, and maybe within our question, you know, I kind of mentioned before that we kind of got a hole to dig out of, and so I gotta get an extra job, which I don't mind. I love working. I'm a really hard worker. But the last year, that's something I've been fighting is I'm like 10 minutes older than you guys. I'm 33 years old. I know that sounds ancient, but you're gonna wake up one of these days and you're gonna, I hope you see my face. You're 33, hello. Anyway, so I mean, just barely down the road a piece from you guys, you know. So you're gonna wake up one day very, very soon and be in my shoes. And so here's the thing that here's kind of my struggle right now. I'm a very hard worker. I love working with my hands. I got a motor that doesn't stop. But this last year, during harvest season and then during planting season, I work for a co-op, and I run this thing called a vac. It's a giant vacuum cleaner that when the grain gets too low for the auger to pull out, you climb in and you pull it out. Well, I guess last spring, a guy and myself were rotating in and out of the bins. Well, this other guy was a terrible worker. I mean, what you're supposed to do is put it at the bottom of the grain flows down, and you kind of keep working it so you don't have to do it. Well, he would climb to the top of the pile and just jam it in there so he wouldn't have to do any work. So on top of the normal work you have to do, you'd have to clean up his mess. So I would say, get out of here, you're gone. And I do have a point, hold on. So I'm cleaning up for this guy, and I would even let him in the bin. But in doing this, my body feels like it's falling apart. My elbows are kind of destroyed right now. For 10 years, probably like 5 to 7 times a week, plus working. I like to work out, so I would do anywhere from 200 to 1,000 push-ups a night, that kind of stuff. And so I'm like barely into my 30s, and my body's falling apart, and I have to get an extra job, and there's a lot of pain that I'm dealing with, and I'm struggling a little bit. I'm like, Lord, you called me to do these things. You called me out to this place out in the middle of nowhere to love on this small community of people you're getting to know, and my body's falling apart. How am I going to make it? Well, I'm taking it on faith of the things that I've seen him do before. And it doesn't mean that there aren't times where I'm maybe not in the greatest of places. I'm thinking, Lord, I'm in a lot of pain. How am I going to get through this? And I just hear that still small voice. Listen, how is today? Let's work on tomorrow. Don't worry down the road a little bit. And especially hearing that guy's story just really encourages me, and I hope it encourages you too. I mean, just, these daily sparring matches. I mean, this is going to keep going and going and going, but he's been so faithful in the past. Why should he not be any faithful in the future? Amen.
So I say, yes, doubt is an essential part of faith, but it is also a very dangerous part of faith. There are so many people who see these questions like, why are good people hurt? Why is there's pain and suffering? And they walk away. Okay, doubt, ask questions. That's good. Challenge your faith, but don't walk away. I mean, that's the key thing. The people who doubt and run away are the people who are missing out, and it's a process.
I do remember my other thought. My other thought is that God allows things in our lives to give us opportunities to help other people, because we are called to live in community, and an experience that I have had may be a benefit to someone else. And if I haven't had that experience, then I am kind of at a loss if I try to help them.
I guess I'm sitting here thinking that, in some sense, doubt is just a part of Christian life. Right? I mean, I think in my own life, I think the kinds of things that, one of the things I struggle with most is who's in charge. And I really want to be in charge, most of the time. And some of that is because I spent so many years being in charge as a non-Christian and failing. So I struggle with that all the time. So I think there are these kinds of struggles that go on. And you have to, I think, ultimately it's you have to have faith in the fact that you're not in charge. So I don't know, for what that's worth.
Any last thoughts?
I've been talking too much, so I'll be quiet.
You can all tell who the pastor is. I do want to put one thing out there. God has allowed me to work with a lot of women today who've gone through different types of pain, specifically physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. So I would be willing to give Clay my contact information. If there's anybody out there that's hurting or has questions, or you have a friend, feel free to contact me.
I guess one other thing I would say is that, the doubts that I had that started with my question of, are science and Christianity compatible, has really allowed me to help a lot of students that I've dealt with in this course deal with these same issues. Okay. And it's obviously helped me, and it's really deepened my faith in God through working through all of that. So I think, coming back to this whole idea, I think in a lot of ways doubt is good.
I think the final thing I would like to say is try not to be like me, and because I said I've been afraid to express my doubts because I thought I'd be ostracized. And as I've been lately, been a little bit more willing to try to express my doubts, I found that people may disagree, but they also share some of the same doubts. And I think you'll find if you share your struggles, there's a whole lot of other people who have those same sorts of struggles that you've got. And it's a lot easier to handle as a community. That's part of why I'm still in the church, is even though I have all these doubts about some of the things I'm hearing, I need that community, and that's so important.
I guess just really, really quick, don't give up. Keep fighting. You know, if you're in that corner and the bell rings, answer the bell. Don't give up fighting.
All right, well, thank you guys. We're going to give it over to Ellie to close it.
Yeah, let's just give our speakers a round of applause. So, as you guys have heard, we have a lot of other events this week. If you want to come check them out, we have some cards in the back that are talking about our event on Thursday night. It's a really big event. It's called Get Real, and we're going to have Professor Deers and Cody speaking at that. Yeah, we have pizza and snacks. I think our speakers will be around to talk if you guys have any questions or just want to chat with them. Thanks for coming.
How you doing? Sorry.